Welcome to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Braylon Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Running pattern to Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Where we bring you the best in sports, entertainment, and insight. Join us every weekday from 2 to 4 p.m. as we break down the latest games, analyze the biggest plays, and dive into the hottest topics in sports. We'll have exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes and guests, and you'll get a front row seat to all the action. So tune in to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Got one-on-one going end zone. Edwards in the air. Oh, what a catch by Braylon Edwards. His second touchdown of the game.
On the Woodward Sports Network, where sports comes to life.
You know what time it is. For the second time since I've been working at this network, the University of Michigan has hosted a trophy.
Talk about it.
In basketball won, football 2 years ago. Last night, University of Michigan Wolverines, Shep, they did what they set out to do. They beat the UConn Huskies. Made it kind of a game at the end, but nonetheless a dominant run for University of Michigan's first thoughts as you watch the game. And hello to you.
And hello to you. Congratulations to your school.
Appreciate that.
You've got to
Thank
feel
you.
good about that.
You know what's crazy? I feel great about it. You know, I got a lot of texts from a lot of alums, people I haven't talked to in a while, friends, a lot of people that didn't go to the institution have always cheered for them. So, yeah, I feel the calls last night and this morning, and it was fun, and it was cool, and a lot of people called me drunk from Indianapolis. So, you know,
That's always
I was
fun.
like, hey, make sure you guys are Ubering out there. But it was I don't know, man, because it's one of the more dominant runs that you've ever seen. And we've talked about this, whether it was football or basketball, you never have been in a moment where you just were calm, cool, collective as it faces a Michigan team. Like, the whole tournament, it was, the game will be over soon. The game will be over soon. And even that game, it was like, okay, what's Linderborg going to do? Oh, they figured out with Cadeau and Johnson.
Yeah.
It's like,
So there was no angst from you at all last night?
No, even when UConn made that run where they got within 4, and then Michigan goes 6, and then they get the steal, and they come back and Trey hits the shot, the kind of the ice dagger, if you will. Shout out to Mr. Michigan 2024.
See, I thought that was – I said the same thing. You're talking about – I think there was like under 2 minutes to go. UConn got to within 6, and then he hits the step-back triple from the right wing.
The ball movement was amazing.
It was.
Right.
And he was – I love that kid. He's a really good player. Like, I don't – he could be a pro. I think he could be a pro.
He's going to be a pro.
But, 9 and 8 last night, it's when you're hitting the shots. It's not always how many shots you're hitting. And he was money last night. I had a conversation with the guy at the gym this morning. He was watching TV, and somebody said that was the biggest shot. And this guy was kind of talking out loud. He said, that wasn't the biggest shot of the game. So I was having to walk by after taking a shower, and I looked at him. I said, what was that? And he says, well, I said, man, they pulled it within 6. If you believe in momentum, UConn felt like they had it. I thought the freshman's 3 was the biggest shot to put them up by 9.
That was the biggest shot of the night. And it's not even it's not enough for grabs. Pretty much Michigan, even though they played an ugly game, and even though UConn led a little bit in that first half, like it was an ugly game. Michigan was in control, dominantly in the paint, defensively in the paint. Just the defense that they applied to UConn never really was able to breathe. And then once the second half started, you saw that. But shout out to you. You brought up Trey McKinney. Trey McKinney was lights out in this postseason as it relates to the tournament. I think when Kason got injured, we talk about that. It allowed Trey McKinney to kind of step out of that shadow. More be put on him, more minutes, more trust. And he delivered. His aggression defensively as well, like D'ing up at the top of the key, matching up on the guards. Like, you can see the intensity fighting over screens. Like, somebody taught this young man to play basketball the right way, even before he got there. And kudos to him, national champ. But Elliot Cadeau is a story. And the reason why he is a story is because you heard what happened out of North Carolina last season. It's not necessarily about where you are. It's about how your coach got basically run out of town down there at UNC. Now we don't want him from the fans, from the team, the whole 9 yards. Dusty May finds him. He comes here. Even here, Shep. Even with Michigan, what was it all year? Man, this Cadeau guy, he's off, he's on, he's in, he's out. Some games like
Taking
that was
somebody else's scraps.
100%. That was the narrative on him earlier. I'll do another one. My stepfather. Sorry, I got to put you, throw you under the bus, CP. But every time we're watching the games together this season, he's like, oh, man, it's just Cadeau that was the one that bothers me. I'm nervous about Cadeau. He'll make a big shot, but he'll miss 7. I feel like this whole tournament, and I feel like this whole season, he's been proving who he was, whether it was proving to UNC, whether it was proving to early on Michigan fans, hell, whether it was proving to himself, whoever he was proving it to, you saw him get better and stay the course. And I love what he said after the game. He said, man, I've never been a part of anything like this. He said, never have I been a part of something where it was not about stats. Mm-hmm. It was not about stats. It was just about winning. It's a selfless act. It's a selfless environment. Like, that spoke volumes. So kudos to him for being able to change his narrative and letting you know what type of kid he was.
Yeah, so the stats, I'm glad you brought that up because I looked this up. His stats last year at North Carolina were basically the same.
Sure.
It's the three-point shooting. Okay, so last year at North Carolina, from assist standpoint, he had 6.2. This year he had 6. I'm rounding up from 5.9. I hope you'll give me that. This year he averaged 10.5 points. Last year he had averaged 9.5 for North Carolina. The difference is three-point shooting. His three-point shooting went from 337 a year ago to 376 this year. Like, his overall field goal percentage this year was worse than last year.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So this is a kid who grew from three-point shooting specifically. And when people, and this is where we can use as a jumping off point, I suppose, and people, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the chat about this and smash that like button as you can. The whole belief of buying a team or Michigan being the first team ever with 5 transfers. I mean, if you want to count Amari Burnett, go ahead. I mean, that was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was
okay. And where was it? Wagner?
Yeah.
Did he come from Wagner? Oh, boy. You got a guy from UAB, Wagner, and a guy who was basically nudged out by North Carolina, and a guy at UCLA who really didn't play that much. And you're trying to tell me you bought the team? Let's be careful there because
thank you, Shep.
Sometimes, and look, I'm not a Michigan slappy here by any stretch. I would say this about any team. I don't care what jersey they're wearing.
The truth is the truth, though.
But what's funny is the people who are complaining about that are the same people who are complaining about their program not going into the portal enough. Could be Clemson football. It could be Wisconsin basketball. I don't care. The other thing is they're the same people who complain that the Lions don't get free agents, that the Tigers don't sign free agents. If you're all about homegrown, you should be embracing the Lions and all the things that they do, that they're filling holes with the players that they draft and develop. But you want them to go out and sign Trey Hendrickson, trade for Max Crosby, give me another big name. But when it comes to basketball, specifically this team, you're like, how can you dare do that? Out of curiosity, is Dusty May supposed to come into a new situation and have nothing but freshmen?
No.
Did you not expect him to go to the portal?
That's not the way they play the game today.
No, it's not. It's not how you play the game at all.
The people that are pissed at the end of the day, they're people that don't like Michigan. They don't like machines, or they don't like people that already have a lot. Michigan has a lot. It's a big school. They won a national championship in this. They won a national championship. Their team's in the Final Four. Teams in the Frozen Four. Sweet 16 in women's basketball. Like, every time you look up, Michigan's winning something. So, cry me a river. Because the same people didn't say the same about Kurt Signetti, who in Indiana, who have done it the exact same way. Right. This is how you do it. But money doesn't guarantee, because there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money floating around. There's a lot of money down there in Texas. I was just about to get to that. There's a lot of money at Kentucky. There's a lot of money at Arkansas. But they don't know how to hire the right coach. They don't hire the right coach with the right ideology. Dusty May is coming in and bringing things that we've never seen before. Going to get Yaxel Lindeborg. Say, hey, I know that you could go into the draft. But what if you stay here? Mm-hmm. What if you come over here? What if we give you a little bit of cash, bring you in, and let you steward this team? Hey, Morez Johnson, we know you were injured last year, but I see a place for you and your physicality. We can partner you up with Mara, who we're about to bring in from UCLA. You got to have a plan on how you attack. It's just not having money and access, because you can put anybody in there and give them the access to the capital that Michigan have, which is a lot. Thank you, Larry Ellison and others. But if you don't get the right guy, which we saw a couple of years ago, it don't matter.
Amen.
It won't matter. So shout out to Dusty May, how he's doing. He's changing all his little quirky things. Mm-hmm. People want to point fun at him. He's quirky. He's this. He's that. He's educating us on how the transfer portal, NIL, and resources work. Because if you don't have the resources in this day and age, that ship is going to pass you by. And those are the people that are complaining about, oh man, why are they taking all these players? Why are these players leaving? It's the fan bases whose teams don't have the resources to retain students. Like, we'll get you in, we'll make you a recruit, we'll bring you here, but then we can't keep you. We can't retain you because, one, we don't have the guy coaching, and two, we don't have the money to keep you. Because a lot of institutions have alums that have money. Like Auburn has Tim Cook. Like everybody, you don't know who Tim Cook is? He's the CEO of Apple. There you go.
Yeah.
They have Auburn, but Tim Cook don't want to put his money in Auburn.
Arkansas's got Walmart behind them.
And Jerry Jones. But it's about who wants to put the money into their institution. Who's arrogant enough, since y'all call this arrogant, who's arrogant enough to want to see their institution win?
Or spend it the right way.
There you go.
Okay? Now, I'm not going to sit here and defend Michigan on how they spend everything. I think their weight room is fantastic. They're going to put another $1 to $2 million in that, which I think is ridiculous. But whatever. I mean, they choose to spend it how they want to. It's their money. They can spend it however the hell they want. I just find it very ironic. And by the way, I would say I would turn the tables on Michigan fans who can't stand Danny Hurley because of his actions, and yet they would complain about Tommy Amaker not being passionate enough. And Danny Hurley's really passionate.
Yeah.
All I know is that Dusty May's players love him. Dan Hurley's players love him. And when you've got that connection and you can relate because there are certain men who've been really important in your life, outside of Stan, okay, who's the most influential man and one of the most influential men in your life, other coaches, you'll die for them. You'll go to war for them, right? Yeah. That's what it feels like when you have this team winning a national championship and the runners-up. All the other teams, I'm sure it's pretty close, Brad Underwood in Illinois and so on and so forth. I don't care, okay, because I don't have to deal with Danny Hurley on a regular basis or Dusty May. But when players are responding to their coaches that way, that tells me something about the head man, doesn't it?
Yeah,
better than Mick Cronin.
This is very true. It goes back to what you like and what you don't like. Like, realistically, you don't like Michigan. You don't like what they were 2 years ago. You don't like what happened with the head coach in football. You don't like what happened out of the football program 3 years ago. What was, what wasn't through the national championship year. So you don't like them already. Yeah. Most people love Dusty May. Most of these same people love Dusty May. They love what he represents. They love the humility. They love that the players love him. They love that he makes it about the players.
That he's not screaming at them.
He's not screaming at them. Okay. He's very calm. He doesn't take things a serious way. The whole Michigan State situation and sit out with him sitting out there. Yeah, now go back and look at that. Yeah. Everybody that made something at that moment, now they're like, man, I want that picture. I wish I could have that picture. So it's the fact that Michigan has a lot, and now they have Dusty May, and Dusty May is top 3 best coach right now in college basketball, and that's not going to change, and neither is the way in which he's stewarding his ship. So it's a lot to hate. It's a lot to hate. Yeah.
Like that's interesting. Top 3?
Yeah.
Who would the other 2 be?
Well, one he just beat.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan Hurley. Yep.
One he beat, and I just always do 3. Give me a second to figure out the third. They're 1 and 2, but just.
Yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just trying to. I'm thinking out loud. Is it Rick Pitino, who did what he did at St. John's?
No.
Is it John Calipari, who turned around Arkansas rather quickly? Right. Is it Mark Few out in Gonzaga? Who I think, based on their schedule, oftentimes is a little overrated.
Would it be Bill Self? No, it won't be Mark Few, because Mark Few, they went from the Cinderella team to the dominant team to now they're back to be maybe might be a Cinderella team in a couple years. I don't know. Maybe it's Bill Self just because he won on a couple years and he has 2.
Probably.
Yeah. We may not like him in terms of how he goes about his business, but probably Bill Self. But just because there's no consistency amongst people winning national championships in the last 10 years outside of Dan Hurley.
Exactly.
Everybody else is here's a one-off here, here's a one-off. Oh, I won and got fired.
Yeah,
2 years later.
Right.
So I think it will be those 3.
Yeah, so I had the debate with my brother-in-law about this whole Michigan ecosystem with their transfer portal and the NIL and all this other stuff. And I literally said, look, I laid it out how I did just a moment ago with the transfers and how this is the way the game is played today. And that if you used your mindset of not believing that you should be in the portal, then you obviously don't feel that way about your professional teams, but you have complained about that on a regular basis. It does not resonate at all. I said, I cannot have the debate because the rational thought is gone. I can't. Yeah. Because if you don't see the similarities and you don't see where I'm coming from, it doesn't make any sense to have the debate at all, because you've made up your mind. It's a predetermined thought that this is the wrong way to do it. Nobody said that about Kentucky. Nobody said that about Indiana football. Yeah. Nobody said that about the other teams that spend more money than the national championship team just did. You're supposed to, in today's day and age, spend money. How you spend it is up to you. Morris Johnson could have gone different places. He was offered more money to go to different programs. He chose not to do it. The portal should not always be seen as the worst thing that happened to college sports. I don't like it. Yeah. It's how many times you use the portal. Sometimes kids leave situations because they want to get to a better situation. See Wisconsin and a local kid who grew up in Highland Park and went to high school at Brother Rice.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's one of those things people want to manipulate it for what they want to use it for.
For sure.
100%. If I want to be against the transfer portal, then I'll talk about people like Dominic Royola being able to transfer all these different places, or not Dominic Royola.
Dylan.
Yeah. Be able to transfer all these different places. They'll talk about when they like the situation, well, there was this kid and he got hurt and they passed on him and he was at the bottom of the bench. He was able to transfer somewhere, able to get a new breath of life, if you will, and now he's able to have some success. The portal is the portal. Mm-hmm. Like the portal is the portal, for better or for worse. This is what the portal is for. The portal is for you being in one situation and for whatever reason, able to be in another situation the following year or the following semester sometime.
Yeah.
That's what the portal is for.
Kevin Bell says basketball is all about the coaches. I think that might be pushing it a little too far. I think it's really important. Don't get me wrong. I think college coaching is really important. Now, do I think it's all about the coaches? I think you've got to have talent. But you can understand why certain coaches have made a difference. Rick Pitino's a good example of it.
Yeah.
Rick Pitino goes to St. John's. Something changed, right?
Kelvin Sampson.
Yeah, Kelvin Sampson goes to Houston. They are competing on a regular basis for not just conference titles, but also for high NCAA seeds, right?
You got to have both. You either have to have the coach and the guys that have been together 5 years, like St. Pete's had a couple years ago. Guys been playing together for a very long time, very high level, and most notably they beat Purdue, who had who on the team. Don't need to talk about that. Or you got to have a coach and a guy. You got to have a coach and a couple guys, like if you will, that's the way. You can't just have one or the other. It takes two to tango, because the coaches will get you in those prime spots. Like the talent can get you to the tournament, but the coach is where you fine tune it.
Yeah, it also requires buy-in, and that's something that I don't know enough has been said about Michigan's national championship team. That is now the best team that Michigan has ever put on the hardwood. Thank you. They are the ultimate team. Dusty May has said this all year long. Not everybody wanted to catch on, but what he was saying is that you've got all these different guys willing to sacrifice different things. Because don't tell me that Yaxel Landenborg couldn't have averaged more points.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He could have, but they want to win, and it feels as though it's like an NBA culture of sorts. When you get in the league, when you leave college, you're the man in college. You get to the league and have to figure out you're like guy 7, you're like guy 8, and you have to find a way to work it out. On this team, everybody just plays the role to win. Yaxel, here's 9 points, here's 30 points. Morez Johnson, here's 4 points and 15 rebounds, or here's 18 points
and really good defense.
100%. Here's
very good defense.
Trey McKinney 2 games ago, lights out, 17 points, 4 threes, 4 out of 6. I want to say, was getting to the cup, getting to his spots. The other night, couldn't hit any shots, but he had 7 rebounds. He had 6 assists. He was fighting for loose balls on the court, and he also felt like a leader when Cadeau got in foul trouble.
Yeah, he also, by the way, there's no pouting there. There's no Scottie Pippen not getting the final shot in a playoff game for the Chicago Bulls because Tony Kukoc is taking it.
I would say that Trey McKinney also felt more mature than even Axel Lindeborg.
I was really impressed with how he handled himself.
Yeah.
You win the national championship. There's no hate. There's no nothing. So let me scale back what I was about to say. But I was getting a little perturbed every time they interviewed him. He was like, "Man, I can't go," and I'm psyching myself out. Trey was out there missing his shots and just saying, "I'm a rock. I'm gonna switch the game up if you will."
I was surprised they asked for him at the half. I didn't understand.
And after the game.
I didn't understand the angle because I thought the best player in the first half for Michigan
was Johnson and Cadeau.
Was Morris Johnson, and then at the end of the game it was Cadeau. Yeah. But
he's a man-child out there, by the way. Morris Johnson.
Oh yeah, he's an NBA player.
I believe so. Late first round, but I believe so.
I don't know where they're going. We got to keep in mind, what is it? 30. There's only 30 first round picks.
Total.
Right, 30 or 32. 30. Right.
30. Yeah.
Okay. And 60 total.
Soon to be 32.
Soon to be 32, which is ridiculous. But I mean, you would have Johnson, So Bray and I talked about this earlier this year. I thought Johnson, Lendenborg, and Amon-Ra are pros.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can debate where they go.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think at least 2 of them are first rounders guaranteed. The other one,
Yeah, I mean, there's skill there.
yeah.
The Mara situation is still a great. Y'all still have me. Y'all still sold on that?
What?
I am sold on.
That
It.
he
Mara?
is?
Oh yeah.
That an NBA player, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's gonna make the NBA with that size and
No,
back to basket.
I get
game.
the size, but I was watching the game yesterday. He's a 7'2" defensive stopper, block shots, supposed to clog up the paint, and he couldn't even get rebounds at spots. Like he's like outside the paint, letting the rebounds happen.
I hear you.
When the free throws are shot, he's halfway down the court.
I think you
Like,
gotta
he's
give-
also taking off. Like it just.
I think you got to give UConn a little more credit though. Like they were just
Okay, but this is
a pest
UConn.
in the paint.
This is my point. This is UConn. What is he gonna do in the NBA when you're playing against pros?
Well, defense ain't like not to say it's not value, but his offense will be appreciated more than his defense. And
just like to keep conversation going.
I think every coach or a lot of scouts, not every, but a lot of scouts would be very enticed by his skill set.
of
My
course,
dad loves
I think he's
him, by
gonna
the
go
way,
see-
so
of
I've been
course.
arguing with my dad too. So,
It's going to be hard to move. It's hard to move Bray off that spot.
No, it is.
Let's
Now,
put it
for the
that way.
people in the chat that have said he's the next Wemby, all right, let's slow down.
Oh, God.
Let's relax. There's people that have said that. I mean, we
Well,
love y'all, but that ain't it. That ain't
those
it.
people need to be called out.
Yeah,
that's,
that
that's
ain't it.
ridiculous.
That ain't it.
Okay, because there isn't. By the way, I don't think there's ever been a player like him.
No, it hasn't.
If Ralph Sampson, who was a hell of a lot more dominant at Virginia in college than Amon-Ra was at Michigan, if he's not even close to Wembanyama,
Right.
and he wasn't, then Amon-Ra's not even going to. That's a ridiculous comparison. Don't use the height of a player to an all-time great who could be an all-time great eventually, and do that. That's ridiculous.
Good job.
it's just interesting though when you watch this Michigan's basketball team. Like it felt real similar to the football team when Jim Harbaugh had those guys rocking and rolling. Like that team, that selflessness, the buy-in to the team. Like these guys are coming to Michigan. Yeah, they're putting some money in their pockets. They're giving them the bag, if you will, the proverbial bag and the metaphysical. But also too, they're coming for the conversation. They're coming for the mentorship. They're coming to be guided by Dusty May and what he believes in. Like that. It's that Michigan difference, man.
The thing about this is they won their 37th game last night. That is tied for a Big Ten record. Do you know who had the Big Ten record?
Illinois.
Illinois of 2004, 2005.
Wow.
Bruce Weber was their head coach. D. Brown was their point guard.
Luther Head.
Shout out D. Brown.
Flipping great player.
Yep.
Darren
Williams, Luther Head, those guys.
Augustine.
Okay,
Damn, yeah, throwback.
Trey Augustine. Those guys were really good. I remember those games. Okay,
That was a good
I don't
season.
remember them winning 37. No, they went. Their second loss, I might add, was the national championship game against
was.
North Carolina.
They lost.
Okay, lost by like 6, I think.
They lost. I remember that year all too well because of my senior year at Michigan. So I remember the Big Ten that year. Michigan State also made it to the Final Four that
Yep,
year.
they sure
They
did.
were damn good. Wisconsin had Devin Harris. Like, Wisconsin was really good
Yeah.
that time. Ohio State was about to
Michigan
start
was not
ascending.
good. Yeah.
Right, oh, yeah. You see, I didn't even mention that. I left them off. But with that being said, Illinois lost the last game of the regular season as their first loss.
Yeah.
It's the last game of the season because they were undefeated, and so was St. Mary's.
Wow.
Like they were going back and forth. St. Mary's ended up losing too. But
The reason people don't remember it is because they,
they
didn't
win
win.
it.
This team wins it, they'll always be remembered.
Absolutely.
And it's the reason they, instead of Illinois in 05, for example, and some of the other teams we talked about yesterday, this will go down, I would argue, as the greatest team in Big Ten history. Now,
Top 10 Big Ten teams. Where we at with it? I got me a little list.
Top 10 of all time?
Yeah,
In any sport or just basketball?
basketball.
I do. I believe that they're the best Big Ten team in college basketball that's ever been on the floor. Now, you could argue that. I welcome that debate. That's okay. Indiana at 32-0.
75-76.
75-76. This after winning 31 the year before was, I mean, how do you deny that? I said that, and somebody on Twitter said the loss to Nebraska, or Wisconsin rather,
Man.
both teams red and white.
Yeah.
The loss to Wisconsin at home disallows that.
Who cares?
Well, somebody's got to care. You think every answer is who cares? Somebody's got to care when you have a debate like this.
It's a regular season loss to a Big Ten opponent.
So what? It's still a loss that the other team didn't have.
That
I'm
is
trying
true.
to take the other person's position now instead of mine.
No.
Because you know how I feel.
Yeah.
But the other team, the Indiana team cared. It didn't happen to them. So, I mean, what about the loss to Duke?
The loss to Duke is one you can point to. However, you saw what happened to Duke in this tournament. I mean, getting
they
popped
lost
by
on a last-second Hail Mary.
Yeah, but you ended up popping the team that they lost to. So I mean, it's just, to me, it's not that big of a deal if we're talking about just the totality of what the run actually was. And I'm actually interested. Like, you didn't ask Bray the question that you asked me before the show of which championship.
I was going to do that after the break.
Excuse me, sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. I wanted to save that.
If you got to go undefeated for the record to matter, then we need to stop having a best up.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Like,
just
you
not
need to stop having the top 10 and stand in third. Like, if the creme de la creme is you have to be undefeated, then that takes out the real question, and which is who is the best. Like, because they went 32-0. This Michigan team went 37-3. You know what they also did? They went undefeated at home. They went undefeated on the road. They blew all the teams out in the Big Ten. The national championship tournament scene, with the exception of UConn. They beat by 5. Blew all these other teams out by 20, 30, 40 this past season. Like, and they lost to Duke.
Or was it 29 games by double digits?
Yeah. So, when you start looking at stats, you start adding them and stacking them up, more wins, et cetera, and what they did, how their dominance was felt a little bit more, you can start changing the narrative. I don't think it has to be 32-0. I more so give that team number ones because they went 32-0, followed up with 32-1.
Yeah.
Right.
And won again. So I kind of do a continuation, but they're definitely number 2.
Okay, we'll get to that. I'm anxious to hear your top 10. We'll do that when we come back right after this. A quick break. It's already 2:30 here on the Braylon Edwards Show. First, Ben Johnson and Art and Jakes. Stay with us.
VENfights.com. Get the fighter on your side. Ben Johnson Law been fighting for a very long time at a very high rate. They are trial attorneys, so they want all the smoke. It doesn't matter if it's a settlement. It doesn't matter if it's a verdict. They can get you the results that you need. VENfights.com. Him and his team are doing an amazing job. So don't make it the second, don't make it the third, and don't make it the fourth call or communication. You make it number 1. Get to him, number 1, just like Michigan, baby.
There was a winner last night. The watch party was rocking at Art and Jake's for sure. Now you get to settle in and you're going to be able to watch Pistons, Red Wings, who are on tonight, and Tigers baseball, which are on tonight. You'll be able to do that at Art and Jake's on a regular basis with over 80 wall-to-wall TVs, 22 draft beers on tap, a menu packed with phenomenal food. Like, sure, the favorites for some of the finger food, but also the meals itself are fantastic. Make sure you scan that QR code that you look at right there on your screen. Download the A&J mobile app today and join the Art and Jake's fan club, the sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
To any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shep Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. 2,700 gyms around this country. That means you can get it in all over this great nation at the best gym. And that's Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet, and the planet is fitness. Fitness is essential. And they understand that also. There's no judgment here. Come in, march to the beat of your own drum. It does not matter. And it even says no judgment zone. It's because we want you to come in and have a good time. We want you to work out. We want you to start, continue, or excel your journey. And also, too, gyms are squeaky clean. So come on down, have a great time. Planet Fitness, where your fitness shop is essential.
You bet. Anytime you're checking out a good ball game, whatever the sport may be, you want to relax with something that, well, it tastes good, but it's not going to fill you up. That's what Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea is. Quite honestly, folks, it tastes so good it can be a little dangerous. I mean, it tastes so good, so crisp, so smooth with real vodka, real iced tea, and no bubbles that suddenly you feel like, man, I can have another, and then another, and another. That's why we want you to drink responsibly. But drink Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea because it is delicious, and it's perfect for whatever sporting event or party you're at this weekend.
4.5s add up.
Yes, they do.
Like how many? Like 4.5 times what?
Times like 5.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feeling a little good after that.
All right.
So KG had a good tease just before the break. We were debating this, and it's quite honestly, I think it's impossible to debate, but we'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
The 2023 national champion football team that went undefeated.
Yeah.
Or the Michigan basketball team that culminated in its second ever national championship last night. Which was more impressive? You don't want to answer it, that's fine. The reason I ask it is because KG, when I asked that, KG, it's like his leg kicked out. Okay? It was like, hey!
Basketball.
And he said, it's not even close. And he said it's basketball. I'm like, what do you mean it's not even close?
I agree. I agree from the standpoint, 2 years ago, like this basketball team was 8-24. And like we were facing a situation where we didn't know what was going to happen with the basketball program. We didn't know who was going to take over. We didn't know who was going to be hired to come in and usher in a new wave. Also, the basketball program is always in an interesting space throughout the history of Michigan. Outside of 89 and that 90, the Fab Five, it's always interesting with Michigan. So looking at it from that point, here we are. Here's another run. Here's Michigan going the opposite way. In 2 years, they go to this Elite Eight last year.
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16, and then they win the national championship this year with 3 essential new guys that start on this roster. So when you look at it like that, that 2023 Michigan team, that was built up over years. That was the 2020 COVID year, figuring out what you had to do, hiring Ben Herbert as a strength and conditioning coach, bringing in some of those players that you already had, recruiting, going through the woes of losing to Georgia, turning around, losing to TCU, which I still don't know how they lost that game to TCU, and I was there to make it matters even worse. Then you break through in 23, you beat Alabama and you beat Washington. So I think there was more of a stacked pattern. Like this Michigan one came out of nowhere, and now it's not going anywhere. That's the other side. That Michigan one came and went.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit easier. It might be. It's
hindsight.
Well, I was going to say in basketball, I think you can get on these types of sustained runs.
Yeah. Where
you may not necessarily win national championships, but you're going to be threatening for them, conference titles and national championships. You can do that in basketball because of the smaller roster.
John Beilein.
Right, obviously. Matt Painter at Purdue has done that, okay? Right. So I think it's a little bit easier in that sense. I think you're right when you guys break it down that way, that just a couple of years ago it was 8 wins, yeah. I think you're almost penalizing the football team because of their success the previous 2 years before winning the national championship and forgetting. We're conveniently forgetting, not you, because you know all those, but 2 years prior to that it was a bad season. It was viewed as a bad season with 9 wins, and there's a certain standard that isn't there. it's a lot easier to impress in basketball when you're playing 33 games and you're playing a non-conference schedule that won't necessarily punish you for an NCAA tournament run. Right. So you can play Gonzaga, you can play Auburn, you can play teams like that and Duke out of the non-conference, whereas Michigan football didn't have those types of really high-end non-conference resume builders. They had to do it from within the conference. They had to beat Ohio State. They had to open up a can at Michigan State. They had to beat certain teams a certain way, and then when they get in the playoffs, it's really only 2 games. It's Alabama, which was 4th in the country at the time, and a Washington team that was undefeated at the time.
And that's the other thing, too, for me. I think I don't know. I think it's about the impressiveness of it as well, too. I think you look at that Michigan football team in 23, they were damn impressive. But this Michigan basketball team was blowing teams out, including Arizona. Mm-hmm. Arizona was wire to wire with Michigan and Duke as the number 1 team in the country. And a lot of people thought that was the equal that could actually dethrone Michigan. And we saw that was just not the case. The Michigan situation, national championships are national championship. But the Alabama team, like Georgia was a better team that year. And you look at what Washington was. Washington was like,
Yeah, they were undefeated. I mean, they're top 5 team. I try not to take away accomplishments from teams, but I get where you're coming from. I mean, if we're going to break it down in that regard, basketball, you'd have to say that when they set as many records as they did. And that's what KG said. That's one of the first things. They're averaging 90 points. I said Howard scored 80 on them.
This is true.
In the first round of the tournament.
Who cares?
And his response was a 2-word response. Who cares? Right. They're the only team, by the way, to score 80. If I said to you, of the teams they played in the NCAA tournament, which team scored the most points against Michigan, you would not have guessed Howard.
You are absolutely right, I wouldn't.
But that is the case. They scored 80.
Impressive is impressive. I guess for me, I look sometimes to what it was. I mean, was it more impressive for the New England Patriots to be the greatest show on turf, or was it more impressive for them to beat the Panthers? It's like the greatest show on turf.
Yeah,
whoa.
Right. And then the Panthers, I mean, how much do you remember of the Panthers outside of,
Musa Muhammad, longest touchdown receiving in NFL history. 89 yards.
Couldn't stand Musa Muhammad, man.
Michigan State.
Oh, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
Really. He was a really good dude.
As a Lions fan, it's just.
But Big Ten is dominant right now. And
think the last 3 national champions in football. And I think it's the only conference that has won the women's national title, the men's national title, and the football national title, with UCLA, Michigan, and Indiana in that respective in the same season.
Yeah, all those people that were hating about USC and Oregon and UCLA joining the Big Ten.
Yeah.
See, now we got all their natties too.
Yeah.
So now we're a collective.
Yeah.
Shout out to John Wooden. But
and by the way, half of the Frozen Four is made up of Big Ten teams.
Yep.
Michigan and Wisconsin. It doesn't mean they're going to face off one against one another. I'm rooting for both of them. But, I mean, Denver and North Dakota will have something to say about it. But you got half the Frozen Four that'll be in Vegas in 2 days is Big Ten bound.
Hockey is a great sport. It's a great sport, in a sense, especially at the collegiate level. Because hockey, out of any other sport in college, is a sport. You look at the Final Four, and you're like, Wisconsin, Michigan, Denver, and North Dakota State. It's probably going to be Denver, North Dakota State. It's the only sport that you would do that for.
Yeah, Denver is it's a hockey power. I think North Dakota has become a hockey power too. Wisconsin, way back in the day, and Michigan, of course, with 9 national champions, I think, is considered that too. I mean, if you were looking, somebody asked me about earlier today about blue bloods for basketball. Michigan now has 2 national championships, and teams with multiple championships in the 64-team era, 64-plus team era. It's Kentucky, it's North Carolina, it's UConn, it's Duke, Kansas, Villanova, Florida, Louisville, and Michigan.
Wow.
That's it. It's just those 9 schools. And I'm not saying it's blue blood material because I think that's reserved for a certain echelon.
Yeah.
But that's impressive. Okay? And I would think in hockey, Denver is pretty damn close to it. Michigan, definitely a blue blood in hockey.
Just like UConn, how UConn had that run and they won 5 in a 20-year span, if you will. I think Michigan has, I don't want to be LeBron.
6. UConn 6.
Exactly. I want to be LeBron when he went to the Heat. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. No, but I think what Dusty May is on to, they may have a chance to write that narrative. If you talk about Blue Bloods, they've been to 3 national championships in the last 11 years. And now they won 1. And now what happens next year, and the reason why I bring up next year, you heard Dusty May after that game. He instantly drew his focus after he gave love to FAU, gave love to his boys last year.
Credit for that.
1,000%. We'll play that at some point. Gave love there, gave love to this current team. Talk about guys buying in. He did all the coaching things. Even talked about himself, which he never does a little bit, and it was great that he
talked
did
about
that.
last year's team, how
Yeah.
Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf and those guys.
And then he shifted his pivot to what?
Detroit.
2027. That's what the mission is. And
He said, now we're on to Detroit.
And when I look at Trey McKinney and how he played this year and what the blossom could be next year, look for Trey McKinney to be one of those names that you talk about next season.
Yep.
Being all Big Ten, being all American, and maybe even being more. Because it's not about the points per se. And we saw that he was able to do that. That boy can play basketball. Yeah. He has a mind.
He's a lot better than I thought he would be. When I watched him at Orchard Lake St. Mary's, I saw him as an offensive guy and a guy who, you know, obviously when you're the best player in the state, you're going to command the basketball and you're going to try and create as much space and all that other stuff. He does so many other things that I never noticed while watching him play in high school.
So I'm going to go ahead and put myself on the spot. I did the Allied Challenge last year up in at Ward Hills and Grand Blanc. So I got a chance to meet him at the celebrity deal. Went out there, he was representing a team, I was representing a team, etc. So we're talking, we're doing an autograph, song and dance, and I'm just getting this vibe. He's a nice kid, real nice.
Comes from good parents.
Great parents. Then I get a chance to meet him at another event before the basketball season started. Same energy. Nice kid, super sweet. You know what I said to myself? I was like, man, he's too nice. Like, he's such a nice guy. Like, I wonder what's it gonna look like when he gets on the court, and can he turn that thing on when the season starts? Like, what is it, man? He definitely showed me a lot. Like, he has a switch. He flips the switch. You can see the aggression. You can see him, the intensity in the game yesterday. When he hit that three, you heard what he said, or you can see what he mouthed, if you will. He was up in guys' face, defending all. He was
his defense on Braylon Mullins was impressive. I mean, they were both going after one another. Two great freshmen.
Mr. Indiana versus Mr. Michigan. You can see they took it as such too.
Yeah, and I would guess, I don't know this. I don't think they brought this up in the broadcast. The broadcast was fantastic, but I think
you like Grant Hill?
I do. I like Grant Hill a lot.
I like him as a person.
You don't like him as an analyst?
He's like
he says a lot of obvious stuff.
He's just like he's
Ian Eagle's fantastic. I like Grant Hill's. He's fine. He's
safe.
He's a good second analyst to Raph.
Got you.
Okay. Raph is a classic, I think. Talks about a lot of things, and he's got his sayings that people seem to love. Grant plays off him very well. Doesn't need the mic a lot, like Stan Van Gundy.
Thank God.
But does do a really nice job of blending. It's hard with a three-man booth. It's really difficult, but they make it work.
I feel like that Duke personality almost came out of him with the Trey McKinney situation with the elbow.
I did see
when he got hooked. He was like, "That's an elbow." That's the first thing he said. I was like, "Come on, Grant, you need to see the play.
Yeah,
right.
Like, relax.
That was
Take
funny.
yourself out of the situation. This isn't you going against Chris Webber 30+ years ago."
He did say. He did say a couple of times, "Oh, I think that's ridiculous," or "That's not a foul," or something. He thought that it got to be a little much. That was the one thing I think last night that a lot of people who were not in the corner of Michigan were complaining about, the number of fouls, the discrepancy. What I liked what Danny Hurley said afterward, he says, "Look, if I had that reffing crew for my entire season, I would be happy." He wasn't going to go there. He gave nothing but great credit to Michigan. This is what he said. He said, "They are one of the better teams that I've played since I've been a college basketball coach. I've coached against some teams with a lot of good players. They're legit. They deserve to win the national championship. They're clearly the best team in the country this year." So I get how a lot of people feel about Danny Hurley because of his facial expressions, the headbutt thing, the way he talks about his players, and how he screams at referees. Okay,
Yeah.
I would remind everybody that the legendary coaches, pick one. I don't care if it's Pitino. I don't care if it's Sampson. I don't care who it is. They are constantly working the referees.
Yeah.
It's nonstop.
I would also urge you to relax sometimes. I know that now in this day and age, there's so many cameras, there's so much, and you also have so much input because you have socials, because you have chats, because you have the conversations. A lot of times you just say things that are new to you. Coaches and referees have had a relationship since the inception. They legitimately, if you don't believe me, do yourself a favor. Go to a Detroit Pistons game and sit behind J.B. Bickerstaff.
Oh, man.
Right.
And watch him talk to the refs. Like, this is just the conversation that happens in women's basketball, men's basketball, college, pro. Hell, it even happens in high school. And now the cats are getting paid. So we have to relax. Passion is okay. That's why you play the sport.
Yeah.
That's why you play sports. It's passion. Passion to practice hard, to put together a squad, to then take that squad to a game and try to show everything and can do everything that you guys put together, everything that you've worked on, put that against another team that has done the same exact thing. And then you try to see whose wits work, whose game works that night, whose plays works that night, whose strategies work that night or that day. And then you come out at the end of it and you see who does. But there's passion in that.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm so fired up is because I've been working on this for how long? We worked on that play, and then so it's really just passion. It's not disrespect. It's not any BS. When they have those moments, you feel them. You always feel a moment where you're like, nah, that was too much. Nah, they went against the grain. And those moments happen, but few and far in between.
Yeah,
It
happens to us as fans.
Yeah.
I've always found it comical when we'll judge coaches on the sidelines in whatever sport, and we're only seeing them in cutaway shots by the producer and the director in the truck.
Right.
Okay?
No context.
No context. I used to have this debate all the time. People at Michigan didn't like Tommy Amaker. Okay, I liked him a lot. He's a really good dude. I thought he was a very good coach. He was hamstrung to a certain extent. He needed a new facility. They didn't give it to him. I think there are some things that he did wrong, like he just kind of backed away from certain recruits who some of the rivals were recruiting, and he felt like he couldn't get them there. That was the wrong approach. He and I had numerous debates about certain things, but he was a good coach, and he was passionate. People would be so pissed off because he wore a turtleneck and he wasn't screaming at players. He wasn't showing enough passion or energy. I said, you know what? First of all, unless you're at the game and watching him the entire time, you don't know. Second of all, if you're watching on TV, you're only taking the clips or the shots that the cameramen and the people decide to take. Yeah. I've watched him in practice. He's plenty of energized and plenty of passion showing through. John Beilein was the same way. And yet, the same people will argue, why is Brian Kelly popping a vein on the sidelines for Notre Dame? I don't want him. You've got to be under control. Why is Tom Izzo screaming at a player? You've got to be under control. What is it people want from a coach? Because Andy Reid's pretty stoic, but he's a pretty damn good football coach. And there are plenty of guys who get up in other people's faces, and it doesn't always work out for them, you know? Brian Dable, how you doing? So those are the things that we can't always figure it out. When a guy wins, it doesn't matter.
Right.
That's all that really, that's the bottom line. If your team is winning, you're happy with your coach no matter whether he's stoic or whether he's high energy and popping a vein on the sidelines. But if he's not, you want him to be just the opposite.
Yeah.
Good point.
Sounds like a lot of people say coaches and teams aren't winning.
I think that's fair to say. Yeah,
that's what
there's
it
no
sounds
question.
like.
Hey, some people are saying, all right, on to Detroit Lions football. We're going to do that when we come back. We're going to talk a little Lions football
well,
here.
You didn't like the Michigan conversation? You don't like talking about Michigan winning the national championship?
Right, crazy.
Well, do we have some super chats that you
No, I
want
was
to?
joking.
No, we do have super chats. We also have some Michigan cuts if y'all wanted to get to those. But otherwise, we will move on. But shout out to everybody in the chat contributing to the show. We absolutely appreciate y'all. We start with my boy Freddie 313, $2 super chat from him. Highly recommend seeing a Natty in person. Go blue, man. My boy Freddie was in attendance
shout out to
last
Freddie
night.
Feld.
Yes, sir.
That's pretty awesome that he was there. I think it's great that there's a lot of people who just went on a whim and went down there to Indianapolis, bought tickets on the way down, and so on and so forth. I think that's fantastic. It's special. When you get to go to a Final Four and then the national championship game, there's an aura about there, and there's a lot of big name people who are there who are to be seen, but they want to see the best that college basketball has to offer, and I'm sure that was the case again last night.
I'll be there next year.
Indianapolis a secondary home for Michigan? I'm just saying.
Well, considering the Big Ten tournament, and considering the
three Big Ten championships in a row.
Yeah.
And then now the national championship in basketball.
It's not a bad place to be. I think they do it right. I would assume, this is just an assumption on my part, from Detroiters, that they were in Indianapolis and they were seeing how Indiana or Indianapolis handles that tournament.
Yeah, great host city.
It is a fan. I used to say this to the Big Ten people all the time. If you're going to rotate, this is strictly for basketball, the Big Ten tournament, then Detroit deserves to be included at Ford Field. And I said, if you're not, just keep it at Indiana. They looked at me like, who the hell are you lecturing? But Chicago doesn't do it very well. Washington, D.C. doesn't do it very well. New York doesn't do it very well.
Yeah. Indiana's just perfect, man.
It's perfect.
If you've ever gone, it's legitimately maybe, including the JW Marriott, which is the furthest, and then the James, which is probably the furthest this way, you're talking about maybe a 6x6.
Yeah,
6x6.
You got the Westin, you got the Marriott, the JW Marriott.
I was saying end to end.
Yeah, end to
those
end.
are just the end to end. And then you have a bunch of hotels that we talked about. Michigan, Detroit has to get better at is the hotel space
for sure.
But all the restaurants, the hotels, the plaza space connects to the train hotel that connects to what used to be RCA, now is Lucas Oil. Everything is in that little hodgepodge space.
You can walk everywhere. So even if you're at the JW Marriott, you can walk the way down and find dinner. And it doesn't have to be the best steakhouse that there is.
Right.
But there are so many different nice restaurants that you can walk to, enjoy yourself, feel safe, and then walk back. Does Detroit have that? Does Detroit have the hotel grid along with the restaurant grid that is going to allow people to walk around, enjoy themselves, and then walk back to the hotel?
The restaurant grid, the hotel grid, not so much.
They're starting to put up a lot of new hotels, but when they started this hotel wave in 2017, 18, they put up a lot of boutique hotels.
Yeah.
Boutique hotels, aren't necessarily as big. They don't have enough. They don't have the same amount of rooms as a Westin, as a Marriott, as a Hilton. So you got hotels, but
they need more 5-star hotels, is what they need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That also have when you first walk in, the lounge space, the walk-in bar space, like the front floor, the mezzanine level, if you will. Like that way you can have more people in there. And then that way it's closer and walking around a little bit.
Do you view Detroit as walkable? I think that you can get to a lot of stuff by walking.
It depends on where you're staying, though,
You can, but it's also far too, though.
It depends.
It's sneaky.
Yeah.
It is.
You're all right, if I'm about to skip, if I'm about that area, the Opera House, Music Hall, I can tie that into maybe walking over to Washington Square as well and go to Bookend Cadillac. But do I want to walk over there to all the way to Midtown, the second best? Am I walking the second best to Jefferson over past the riverfront? It starts to get Uberish. But I guess that's what the Q line was for.
Technically. Technically, yeah.
Threw that jab
The
in there.
way Q
Shout out
line.
to Detroit.
I would say this: it's not as walkable as Indianapolis.
No, of course not.
But considering where the games are going to be played, it's much more walkable than it was in Washington, D.C., which was treacherous.
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't walking there. Okay, it's bad. It's much more walkable than Chicago because the Michigan Ave and where it is in Chicago, where a lot of the teams were staying at the Westin and all those different nice hotels down Michigan Ave. The United Center is pretty far off that grid.
Chicago's
right?
huge.
So it's much different. And New York, it's not bad at all. Madison Square Garden, you're playing. There's so much around there that you can go and check out. And we actually, when I was calling games, we were right across from Madison Square Garden.
Oh, nice.
And it was at more of like a boutique hotel.
Okay.
So I think Detroit is in pretty good shape. I would love to know what they've learned on how Indianapolis puts things on. I hope they just didn't go to the Final Four. I hope they went to the Big Ten tournament and notices what they've done in the Big Ten tournament because they literally give you every school a bar. It's really cool. This is the bar here for Michigan State, and you go in there and you enjoy it. Here's one for Michigan, and you go and you enjoy it. And it's a perfect place for people to hang out with people they enjoy, have good food, and simply walk back to their hotel. They do it right, and then they rename the streets after the various schools.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's in the words of KG, it's very dope.
Yes.
Anything else on the super chat?
Yes, we have a few more to get through. We'll try and get through these quickly. We got Wolver Lions Sports Talk, $5 super chat. Michigan Arrows open tryouts this Saturday, April 11th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Oakland Yard in Waterford, and Braylon Edwards will be there.
Shout out.
Really?
Look at Bray.
That's news to Braylon.
Wait, what?
Did you check with Braylon's manager? My assumption is you did not.
Probably
not. We'll take a look at that one.
Right. We'll see if the schedule going to open up for Bray. But we go to the OG Michael Weary, $10 super chat.
Mike?
Shout out to you. Guard Elliot Cadeau, center Ade Mara, power forward Morez Johnson Jr., guard LJ Sign, guard Howard Isley Jr., guard Trey McKinney, center Malik Cordell, guard forward Winters Grady, guard Ricky Laborde, I think that's pronounced. Sophomore, all eligible to return.
Don't forget the huge class influx of talent they have coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Cannot wait.
It's like Calipari. When Calipari got to Kentucky, he said, I used to tell these guys, hey, look, you got a year.
Yeah.
So I can hold you down for a year. Other than that, we got 5 more McDonald's All-Americans coming in, so you better be the elite of the elite.
And
take your game to
and
that
Michigan's
level.
got a couple of McDonald's All-Americans coming in. That's the whole thing. I mean, you experienced this.
One committed during the broadcast last week.
Correct. During the semifinal. You experienced this firsthand. It's great when they sign you as a recruit. But you also have to understand that they're as soon as they sign you, as soon as they give you your number, they're looking for the next guy too.
That's a fact.
And that's just the way it works in sports.
It does, and I'm happy about what Dusty is accomplishing though in this 2-year run. Like you get guys that are buying into what Dusty May is. Don't forget, like Michigan football, as good as it got with Jim Harbaugh, Michigan football led the nation in transfers. Mm-hmm. Like before 21 and 22, they led the nation in players leaving to go to other schools, jump in that transfer portal. Once you have in 21, 22, you start learning how to keep them. You change some things up. You make it about what this era is about per se, and you still had that coaching balance that Jim Harbaugh did, and you're able to keep players able to go on that run. That's what Dusty May has going right now. Yeah, like he understands bringing in the players. He understands the Trey McKinneys. He understands the Linda Boards and the Cados, the stars. But he also understands how to work it, maneuver, and get them to buy into that. So this young man right here, B. McCoy, like he understands I'm coming here because this is the national championship scene. This is where everybody's looking at right now. It's the hot-ish, if you will. They just come off the national championship. But also, too, I want to get Dusty to buy into who I am. Yeah. And I think Dusty May as a coach is letting me just be able to do that.
Yeah, when you watch this kid's highlights, I mean, they're just highlights. I mean, the highlights are really good. I mean, people go to Huddle or whatever the latest trend is, but it's the real deal, man. Yeah. I mean, he flies like Anthony Edwards.
I cannot wait. We got one more.
Chats, yeah.
Yep, one more super chat in here. Shout out to Teddy Fresh, $5 super chat from him. Also, Michigan had the strongest strength of schedule by all metrics this year. Go Blue from Orlando. That's what I was telling you, Shep.
By Ken Palm.
Yeah.
By Ken Palm, yep. They were the #1 defensive efficiency team in the country, and they were among the best in offense, too, ranked in the top 10.
What was the first game you saw last year? You were like, uh-oh. In a good way, obviously.
I don't recall.
For me, it was North Carolina. Obviously, North Carolina wasn't that this year. This is why that coach got fired. That's why they got knocked out in the first round of the tournament. But no, UNC is still UNC. And we have an early on in the season. Man, they whooped UNC early on. Like, it wasn't even close. I said, okay, note to self. Pay attention.
So that was the turning point for you, you're saying?
Yeah, that was like game 3, game 4 this year. It was early in the season.
Yeah. North Carolina? I didn't. You're saying last year. I'm sorry. You're saying last year. Yeah, you're saying last year because I don't think they played North Carolina this year.
Not this year. No.
Yeah. I don't know when it turned for me, quite honestly. I think it was probably the Auburn game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the Las Vegas tournament. Mm-hmm. You beat a team.
So that was early, right?
That
was pretty early.
I think that was
December.
It was pretty early.
December.
Was it December? Okay, yeah. They beat them by 30.
It was the get back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not.
Them and San Diego State.
They played San Diego State first. They beat them by 30. Mm-hmm. Then they beat Auburn by 30, and then they beat Gonzaga by 40.
That's what it was.
Yeah. The Gonzaga one was the one for me.
Yeah, and so this is not a knock on Mark Few and Gonzaga. I think Mark Few's a really good coach.
No, of course he is.
And I think they've had some really good players, really good college players. It doesn't mean that Adam Morrison should have definitely been a first-round pick, Michael Jordan. But I'm saying in general, they're a well-respected program, and rightfully so. I don't view them as, wow, you just beat Gonzaga like that. It's incredible. Maybe it's because of the conference in which they play. Yeah. And for me, Auburn playing in the SEC, at least going into the season, I thought was a lot stronger than obviously Gonzaga.
And I'm sorry, beating a team by 40 in any stretch is like,
amen. Amen. Although I don't think you'd say that about Rutgers because they beat Rutgers by 40.
No,
right.
Yeah.
And obviously, two teams are completely different on how they're held in esteem in college basketball. All right, promise we will shift gears a little bit to some football, some Lions talk. When we come back here on the Braylon Edwards Show on a Tuesday, a championship Tuesday.
Damn right.
on Woodward Sports.
We are going to estates and pure psychiatry for all the state fans out there. They might need it. So.
This is very true. Whether you're buying a home or refinancing, and also you might be buying a home if you hit a ticket, because I saw Swanky Wolverine put $30K. He put $30K on Michigan in October.
Really?
Yeah, that's a $600,000 payout. So maybe if you hit a ticket like that, you might be trying to seek a new home. And if you do, come on down to Estates Title Agency and Nabisa Hyde and his team. They know what they're doing. We make closing simple and convenient. That's the motto. The simple, the simplicity, the convenience of it all. Probably served in Michigan since 2003. The staff at Estates Title has over 20 years of expertise. And the best thing about it, too, is they make it simple. They make it convenient, like weekend closings, late night closings. Also, they pull up on you, drop the location, and they can finalize details, get you signed on the dotted line wherever you are. Let them make it easy for you. For all your title needs, call Mr. Deeds.
You know, we talk about sports all the time. We talk about the stresses. We talk about the wins. We talk about the losses. We talk about the pressure. We talk about social media, the expectations that are associated with so many things. It's not always easy. Nobody knows that better than Pure Psychiatry. They provide personalized psychiatric care designed specifically for you. They get to know you and then give you the program that they feel best will help you. And it's okay, because there's a lot of people dealing with a lot of stress these days, and we just want to make sure you're on a mentally healthy journey, all right? And Pure Psychiatry has that for you. 16 locations in Michigan, 2 more in Ohio. They make it accessible, but most importantly, they make it comfortable for you. How do you find out more? Go to PurePsychMI.com. That's PurePsychMI.com.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
I hate to tell you, energy drinks, but you're about to be crushed. Thrive nootropic energy pouches are here to change the game by delivering steady, focused performance in a clean white pouch for a fraction of the cost. And unlike other brands, Thrive comes from an American company that's been leading the way for over 30 years. So stop drinking gut rot energy drinks and why don't you thrive for a change? It's just better.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Hey, Sam Adams beer would have been a perfect beer for you to be drinking last night while you were watching the national championship. Yeah, Braylon had one, and you see that pour. I mean, that's a true picture. That is those cherries, Michigan cherries. Sam Adams cherry wheat is delicious. If you like good beer, and you make money now, you should be able to afford good beer. It's worth it. All right? You don't have to have a lot. You just want a good taste, whether you're having an appetizer or having a main meal. Sam Adams Cherry Wheat is where it's at. And they got $5 shorts at Art and Jake's on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Folks, it's light, it's refreshing, and most of all, it just tastes good. Sam Adams Cherry Wheat. Please drink responsibly.
And Cam, tell them about Thrive.
It is a fact, by the way. It is a fact for sure.
You bet, brother. I am so over that afternoon crash, which is exactly why I caught me a tin of that Thrive. Leveled up because it's made right here in the USA, delivers fast-acting energy and elite cognitive focus using all-natural caffeine. All clean, all energy, zero sugar, zero crash. Go ahead and scan that QR code on your screen right now or go to dipstop.com, grab yourself a tin. Use that promo code WSN at checkout to get 15% off your entire order. Seriously, y'all, they just flipping work.
We back. Kool-Aid voice.
And we back, Shep.
Yeah, we've got a group text talking about the NFL draft that will soon be approaching in Pittsburgh. And who do you feel strongly about? Who do you want to highlight? Love the linemen, right? You want certain guys, right?
Yep.
There are certain players that just jump out at you. I saw, and this is, unfortunately, folks, I know some people roll their eyes. This is the way it goes at this time of the year when the draft is sneaking up on you. And now college basketball is over, and it's still the early stages of Major League Baseball, and you're waiting for the NBA and NHL playoffs.
Masters this
right?
weekend.
The Masters are this weekend, but it's still not quite there yet until Wednesday when you got the little kids hitting around and stuff like that. You love the mock drafts. I do. I don't know how much you pay. Did you pay attention to it at all while you were getting ready to play in the NFL? Did you ever look at any mock drafts to see where you might be going?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
Like, up until I got drafted. After I got drafted, I stopped looking at mock drafts. I could care less. At the end of the day, it's on the franchise at that point. But I looked at them. I was trying to see where ESPN had me. I was trying to see where NBC had me. I was trying to see where CBS. I was trying to see where Mel Kiper. I was trying to see where Merrill Hodge had me at that time back in the day. So it was interesting to see. And then from there, you're kind of like, okay, I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, my mean is averaging around 3-4. I'm like, then you get a good sense. And then once it's still operating that way, once you get to April 1st, whatever that average is of those mock drafts is around where you're going. When I got to April 1st, I was floating somewhere between 1 to 5. 1 was like one mock draft, but I still took it. The majority of them, though, was somewhere between 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay. And so you knew you were going to be in that area.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's around April 1st.
That's that Michigan arrogance.
Right. Yeah, I get it. 3-1-3. Do you think these guys today, like, what is it they're doing to prepare for the draft, if anything? Is it just as usual, every single day they're doing the same stuff, getting ready for a season, no matter what? Or
so I would say for me, once Pro Day happened, Pro Day was March 18th. Pro Day was March 18th. Did Pro Day, crushed Pro Day, and then the draft was April 23rd. So from March 18th to April 23rd, I took off. I said, look, I'm tired. It's been 4 years of college football. I jumped right into training for the draft. So I took that time off, and then I jumped into it when I got drafted. You go down for rookie mini camp, and then you keep going, or rookie OTAs, and you keep going. Nowadays, guys are just, you're keeping it going. You're keeping the training going. Like, guys are legitimately finishing their pro day, and they're staying at the gym. They're staying with their rounds. They're staying with their coaches, or whoever the guys are that are working on their footwork, working on their routes, working on their passing, etc. So guys are trying to dial in because guys are trying to come in and be the guy right away. Fernando Mendoza, there's no time for him to let up. If I'm Jeremiah Love, and much is going to be expected to me of being the first running back, maybe even the best talent available. Much is going to be expected wherever you go. Arvell Reese, Ohio State. A lot of people have him going maybe second to the New York Jets, maybe going third to the Arizona Cardinals with Bailey, if you will. You got to work because when you get into that system, when you get into that team, when you sign that dotted line, because they're signing faster nowadays, they want you there. They're spending buku cheese on you. They want you there. They want you to get ready so that you can be locked and loaded, unlike what happened to New York Giants last year. Their defensive end who figured it out later in the season.
Oh, right on. Okay, I got you.
Abdul.
Yeah. Who Abdul Carter, I thought was the best talent in the draft.
Yeah. He came on strong.
So I was wrong. Okay, I would have been wrong. Like I would have taken him number one.
Wasn't he injured coming out though? Too?
Well, that shouldn't matter, Brad Holmes.
Well, yeah, true.
I don't recall that, but
I thought he was. Right. I could be wrong.
You could be right. I thought he had the type of body that's going to last off the edge for a long time, and he had that type of motor. I mean, I had visions. This has everything to do with Penn State and everything to do with the number, and it's stupid on my part. Okay, I'll be free to chastise myself here. Right. I had visions of Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Yeah.
So, well, you can be mad at it now because he's not.
Well, true, but he's still just a rookie coming off his rookie season.
Yeah, but I mean, look at how immature he was.
Yeah.
I mean, Braylon talked about it during the season. Okay. I mean, at some point you got to grow up.
Absolutely.
I get it. We like to, I don't want to say make excuses, but we like to try and give young players a little bit of a comfort zone and say, look, there's an adjustment to everything. All right. For some reason, we don't feel that way about certain players. You know, oh my God, this guy can't play, and it's 2 games into his NBA season, or this guy's a bust, even though he's only made 3 starts in Major League Baseball. It's hard for us to be patient, but there are certain guys, you know, you want to give them a little bit of leeway, but at some point it's got to stop.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and that's how it was, I think, with him.
The tough thing too for a rookie, especially like Abdul Carter, is when you're getting drafted. Like if you're immature and you go to a poop show organization, or you go to an organization that's trying to figure things out, or you go to an organization that you got a bunch of immature guys on that team, a bunch of guys that are used to losing. Like it's an ugly culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're 22, might turn around and become 16. You're going in there like the Giants have been a wreck for the last 10 years or so. You know, so going in there, what is that energy? What is Dexter Lawrence like? What is Kayvon Thibodeau like? DeMarcus Lawrence, or Dexter.
No, Dexter Lawrence.
Because right now,
asking for a trade.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
So I remember going to Cleveland. Like going to Cleveland, I was one of the most mature players on the team. And then my maturity level went backwards, but being there, but it's about where you go. So I guarantee you, when you're a young guy and you're going to the Kansas City Chiefs, you're going to the right team. You're going to the right situation. You get drafted to the Lions. We understand what we've built here. You get drafted to the Seahawks. Great organization. But there's some Cleveland Browns and organizations out there like that.
I do
Carolina for a while.
I do want to get into these mocks, but let's just take a quick turn to the right for what's happened to one of the more recent superstars in the league, and that's Puka Nacua. He's a guy who has, probably has the chance to change the landscape at wide receiver, even though Jackson Smith and Jigba just did. Most people would say he is the most, if he's not the most, he's one of the most complete wide receivers in the National Football League.
Yeah. Absolutely.
How much does his recent problem, whether it's biting a shoulder or some type of a strong anti-Semite epithet, and if he indeed did that, I'm not going to judge him because we don't know that. It's just an allegation. How much do you think that's hurting?
Or rehab,
or
usually
rehab.
you go to rehab for alcohol, substance abuse, anger issues, things of that nature, just maybe to talk to somebody. It's going to affect him a lot. And the reason why is you look at a JSN contract where he signs for $120 million guaranteed, $164 million deal. You look at Amon-Ra St. Brown when he signs his deal a couple years ago. What you also notice about those two individuals, they do it right on and off the field.
That's right.
Like if I'm the Ford family, it's easy for me to invest money in Amon-Ra St. Brown because I know where he's going to be. I know where he's going to be at. I know he's a hell of a leader. And he's going to be one of the players that leads this team into the new future. Mm-hmm. Same with JSN. JSN has been a pro since he got to Old State. I told you, I do not like Ohio State at all. I made no bones about that. But JSN is one of those players from the time he got there, I said something special about him. And it's not a lot to do in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Seattle, it's not necessarily a lot to do.
You can only go to the fish market so many times.
Yeah. So many times. So what you do is you're locking in, you're watching film, you're chilling, you're being easy, and the team sees that. Like when they're thinking about spending money like that on you, Shep, they don't have to hire anybody because they already work for the teams. They already work for the owners. Follow this guy and let us know everything about it. We're thinking about investing this type of money. Let us know what he does on the weekend. Let us know what he's doing in the offseason. Where is he at? What does he look like? Where is his coherent level? And that's what you're saying out of Puka Nacua, who came from BYU. And you go from BYU to LA, it's a big difference. And now you ball out. Now you're big fish. Now you're doing, this podcast, this event show, this gala, this event. You're dating this person. You're hanging out with this person. You got a booth with this person. A lot of that new stuff, you start indulging. You start maybe indulging too much. And now the Los Angeles Rams, they see all that. You think the Los Angeles Rams are about to drop $160+ million on him after all this? No. So now he has to go through a whole year. I would say it's probably going to take them, because he's not up this year.
No.
He's going to have to go through a year proving to them, hey, look, get myself together. I just got excited with this new access, if you will. This access is a lot.
You're saying when you say proving, it's not proving on the field of play, because he's proving
on
that.
The field,
you're
he's the best
talking
in the
about
league.
being. It's the reason the Lions were willing to let's use the word risk with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
100%.
They know what they're getting.
It's not a risk for them.
Yeah.
Like, this is a risk. Like JSN, it's not a risk. AJ Brown, that was a risk. DK Metcalf, that was a risk. Devontae Adams, that's not a risk. Like, some of these players, you know what you're getting. Some players are just worth it to figure it out. Los Angeles drafted him. I guarantee you they're going to make him fight this year to see what he's worth off the field. And then they'll revisit this after the season.
And you don't blame him for that?
No, I don't. Because if you're going to give him – because once you say here it is, once you give them that paper, once they sign that dotted line, you got to go through hell or high water to prove they don't deserve that. Like, you got to go through hell or high water to find a loophole to get your money back if they do something that goes against the grain. But now it's too late. You've already.
So representing the franchise is a big deal to most franchises.
1,000%. Well, you guys are cheering for Amon-Ra St. Brown, as we are. What would you guys do if Amon-Ra St. Brown was just always out partying, always out lit, public intoxication? Things were coming out where he was allegedly biting people. Things were coming out with anti-Semitic comments. Things were coming out like all these things were coming out. You would be like, damn, like, we like you.
Sideshow, right?
100%. Because like the first instance, it's, well, shoot, he can still ball.
Yeah.
The second instance is like, all right. The third instance is like, okay, now you're becoming a distraction.
Yeah.
Now you're taking away from what we're building here in the city.
And other teammates have to answer questions about you instead of you answering questions for yourself, or even if you do. You know, I mean, it's the only reason I hesitate, folks, is because we saw what happened with Trevor Bauer. Okay, and it was all
Kudos
lies.
to him.
But it was all lies. But he lost.
Should have got another job after that, but.
Yeah, but
I digress.
No one, to Braylon's point, that's why it's a fascinating insight. To Braylon's point, teams are going to go, too much of a risk.
Yeah.
But do we really want people picketing outside and saying, how can you employ a guy like this when he did this, when really he didn't?
Right. And it was proven that he didn't.
But eventually it was proven.
Right.
It wasn't proven until years afterwards.
Right, not right away.
Yeah.
But it's proven right now he's at a rehab facility.
That's correct.
So that's not up for debate.
Not for debate.
But that's the other thing about it too is somebody still would take a chance on him.
Absolutely.
It just may not be Los Angeles Rams that don't have to.
It's because of talent.
Yeah.
Because of that talent. So one, fix it off the field, but as long as he keeps it on the field, there will be Arizona Cardinals knocking at his door to pay him.
Sure.
Or there will be
look, if Kareem Hunt gets a new job, Puka Nacua is going to get a new job.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. I mean, Kareem Hunt.
Yeah. We got our own example here with J-Mo. All the problems. And not to say J-Mo was a problem. You know, Bray, we've been staunch J-Mo defenders for a long time. But
we made
just using him as an example, some of those early issues, but they still ended up paying him. You know,
for sure, because I think he's shown that he's grown. I think that's immaturity.
Yeah.
There's a difference between a problem and immaturity. Having a gun while your brother's driving the car and it's under the seat, whether he knew it or not, that's not smart. It's also immature.
Yeah.
Okay? His situation, by checking into Jameson Williams isn't checking himself into a situation, into any type of clinic. Puka Nacua is admitting that, okay, I've got to peel it back.
Yeah.
I need some help doing it. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's
There's
nothing wrong. I
psychiatry.
commend him.
So, yeah, I do too. I commend people who admit, look, I've got some issues here. I've got to fix them.
Yeah. Well, I was told he was forced to go. It wasn't necessarily on his own volition, but that's what I was told. I don't know. So
I mean,
just speculation.
At the end of the day, with any forcing, you still have final say.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
So,
He's a grown man.
Realistically,
he
they could
check out.
The Rams could say, "Hey, you got to go." He could still say, "F y'all."
Yeah, he
I'm
check
good,"
out
and fight it out in public and see what the Court of Public Appeals.
Good point. Yeah,
but he said, "You know what? Maybe a little level of this also too. I'm tired. I don't want to hear any more."
Right.
So.
Well, it's going to be the topic of conversation at training camp anyway.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
So, I mean, this is what people ask about. How are you doing? What was the issue? How have you been fixed? What have you learned? How much do you think this is going to play a role in your contract? All those things.
The only where I have pause for concern for Puka And I hope that, this works for him. He figures out.
Because you like him a lot.
He's still a young guy. Look, I've been through my share of things that were miscommunicated, misconstrued, and I've been through my fair share of things that were true. It's the during the season stuff. See, when you're getting in trouble during the season, that means you're not necessarily focused, especially when you play for the Rams. Like, the Super Bowl is the goal. Like, last year, you were the best team in the NFL until you weren't. Like, the Super Bowl is the goal. When you're getting in trouble or you're getting into situations during the season, that's when I get worried. If it's the off season, everybody parties in the off season. Like, look, it's time to kick my hair down. I've been going at this thing from March through January. I'm going to Miami. I'm going to Cabo. I'm going to Florida. Well, I guess that's the same thing. California. I'm going to hang out. I'm getting out the country. I'm going to do something. When you're partying during the season continuous like that, and these issues are happening during the season, see, now as a franchise, I'm like, come on.
Yeah, but social media doesn't help.
True, right.
No. Right? I mean, any of these guys. But it does help the people who might be trying to, I'll use the word entrapment, because I'm sure that happens quite a bit.
I got it in, Shep. Like, when I was playing ball, I got it in. When I was in New York, this was the schedule. It was game Sunday. We was going out Sunday night. Tuesday's off day. We're going out Monday night. And then we're going out Thursday, maybe Friday. That was New York, 25, 26, trying to figure out. It was fun. Had the time of my life. I didn't have to go out. I didn't have to put myself in those situations. I didn't have to be out. I could have been at the crib. I could have been studying the playbook a little longer. I didn't even have to be studying the playbook. I could have just been chilling, kicking my feet up, relaxing a little bit more. But I chose to go out. So anything that comes with going out, anything that comes with choosing that, you chose it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you going out and going to the club, it's one thing. It's another thing, I think, going to the club and getting, crap-faced.
Well, I didn't add that to the story.
No, I'm saying, but
that's a part of it.
And then having all these types of allegations associated with it. Again, I'm not judging him because I think there's been plenty of athletes who have been it's been misinterpreted what has happened in their situation. I'm not saying they're all innocent. I'm not going to jump to conclusions. What he does in his spare time and in the off season, as long as he's getting his workout done and he's going to perform on Sundays, I'm not sure how much we should care as long as he's not breaking laws. So
true, I don't care at all, but it's the Rams. And anything that you're doing that has a chance to come back to our organization, see, now you've involved me. Like, if you're doing things off the radar, like, good for you. We got nothing wrong. We'll see you April 3rd
That's
or April 4th.
Yeah.
But if you're doing things away from us that get back to us, and now they're things we have to deal with, come on in, let's talk.
All right, quick time out, because I want to talk to you about, how, as a former player, how you recognize the types of players you want representing your team. We're going to get into that, plus those mocks that we talked about. Just 3 quick ones, because these guys are primarily in the know, especially with the Lions. And I'm wondering what people feel about with certain positions, because I think that's what people are into.
Yeah.
I'm into players. I'm into how long they've played. I'm into productive players. I'm into guys who you're going to be able to keep for a long period of time. We'll explain here coming up here on the Braylon Edwards Show. Stay with us.
Yeah, let's go to Caesars and then Buddy's Pizza.
You got it. If y'all haven't got that Caesars Sportsbook app today, you can still get that, especially on this deal here, because you can place any bet up to $1,000, and if you lose, you get that bet back. It sounds so freaking loco, but all y'all got to do is scan that QR code, enter the code Woodward1000. If that first bet doesn't hit, you get that deposit back up to $1,000.
Say what?
$1,000 back, KG, just for giving it a shot. Minimum bet, $20. Download that Caesars Sportsbook app today. The official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. Use code Woodward1000 or scan that QR code on the screen.
Buddy's Pizza, 80 years of greatness. I know. Michigan just celebrated greatness last night on the hardwood in Indianapolis. Buddy's says, good for you. Now do it for 80 years like we've done it. The original Detroit-style pizza. Add some to your next Buddy's Catering, and it'll be worth it. You see that pizza right there on the screen? Doesn't it look good? You're damn right it does. You see that salad? Doesn't it look good? You're damn right it does. It's better tasting than it is looking. It's a fan favorite, and if you do cater an event, you get 20% off by using Woodward 20, as long as you're spending $200, which goes a long way at Buddy's. Check it out today, buddyspizza.com.
Day game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports. Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts, Woodward Sports. The bats are hot, and the weather is getting hotter. Summertime in the D with Detroit's big hitters, Woodward Sports. No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got everybody. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shep Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
It's game on at Art and Jake's. Wings, burgers, pizza, and ice-cold drinks served up with attention to detail. Wall-to-wall TVs, great service, and a vibe that keeps your crew coming back. Art and Jake's, a sports bar setting with a fine dining flavor.
Black Rock Bar and Grill, home of the sizzle. But check this out, for a limited time, you can get steak and lobster, surf and turf for $19.99, and then it's home of Steak on the Stone, so you get a chance to cook it right to your perfection in front of you. Black Rock is not just a steakhouse, though. It's a top rock experience. It doesn't matter what meal you choose, it will be fresh, the service will be right, and you'll get deals that fit into that price point. Portage, Ann Arbor, Heartland, Davidson, Utica, just to name a few. Black Rock Bar and Grill, the sizzle above the rest.
I like that you said the price point is just right, just like it is at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men.
Snip, snip.
We were just talking about Black Rock and how clean it is in their facility. You want to sit down and eat at a clean place. Well, I don't think it's a whole lot different than getting your haircut. You want to make sure it's nice and clean. You want to make sure the bowl you're getting your hair washed in is clean. You want to make sure the floor that you're walking on is clean. That's what Lady Jane's brings for you every single time you walk through those doors, and they make it really easy too. Just sign up. Next thing you know, you're in that chair, you're watching something sports related, you're getting your hair cut, you're out the door in a matter of moments, and you're enjoying the rest of your day. Plus, it is very, very economically priced for you. That's why we call it Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Wicked awesome.
Shep, I feel bad for Terrence Reed Jr., man.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Terrence Reed Jr. I was looking at his stats.
Yeah.
So Michigan and UConn won 3 national championships in the 4 years that he went to school. He went to school 2 years at Michigan, 2 years at UConn. The 2 years that UConn won, he was at Michigan, and the 1 year Michigan won, he was at UConn.
Damn.
Like, so he... That's tough.
That is really tough. And he just, seems like a really good kid.
Oh, yeah.
His father and his mother, like, they produce, like, replicas. Because they kept showing his family in the front row. His younger brother looked just like him. His other younger brother looked just like him. And his dad, well, he looks just like his father.
He's gotten a lot better, I think, from his time at Michigan, obviously. The thing about it, he missed a lot of shots at the rim. Connecticut, in general, missed a lot of shots at the rim last night. That could have been a much different ball game. Not some of that is Michigan's defense.
No, of course.
Some of it's Michigan's intimidation, okay? Because they blocked 6 shots.
Yeah.
And they average, I think, 7 per game. UConn knew that scouting report.
It's one thing to know a scouting report, Shep. It's another thing when you get out on the field, get on the ice, get on the court, and that scouting report just does not do it justice. How good they are. Like when you're a hooper in the paint, especially as big as Terrence Reed is, you're looking for one guy that can block shots or get up to it. Maybe 2. Like not 7.
Yeah.
Like the block shots were coming from everywhere. There was one play where Morris Johnson was in the air, Trey McKinney was in the air, and Mara was coming over from the help side as Linda Borg. I'm like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like that's why that one bucket where Caravan went coast to coast and got the layup, I was like, I had to clap. I said, you know how hard that was, man? Coast to coast. And the commentator said, he doesn't typically go coast to coast. He had to. Because there's no other way. But yeah, it comes from everywhere. Cadeau's blocking shots.
I know. Yeah, it was crazy.
Like everybody is trying to attack that ball and meet that before it goes into the rim. So I think looking at a scouting report, there's been times where I scouted players. And I'm like, all right, man, yeah, that's cool. He's got good back pedal right there. He's got hand on. He put his hand on the chest plate. I'm a little bigger. I'm a little. It's not gonna be the same. And then you get out there, you're like, holy okay, this is real. I remember the first time I played against Seattle when they had Brandon Browner, when they had Sherm, when they had Cam, and when they had Earl. I played for them in 12. In 11, I played for the 49ers. I saw that scouting report. I was like, yeah, all right, it's just a tall DB. It was different when I got out there. They knew what the hell they were doing. Shout out to Gus Johnson. Not Gus Johnson.
Yeah,
Gus Bradley.
Gus Bradley.
Who was their defensive coordinator and then became the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But looking at a scouting report, sometimes it's different.
And looking at film, too. It doesn't always do it justice.
But to Shep's point, considering the offensive rebounding night that they had, UConn did, it would have been a different game if they were.
For sure. I mean, they had 22 offensive rebounds.
Insane.
But that's because they missed a lot of shots.
That is true.
If you look at the stats, if you look at those stats, there's no way you think Michigan won until you look at Connecticut stats.
Yeah, seriously.
That is so true. But it was. It's been a fun ride. It's been a really fun. You had 2 coaches. You had 2 completely different styles. One championship stage, if you will. 2 guys who are very, very strong in X's and O's. Both of them obviously can recruit. Just because you're getting somebody in the portal doesn't mean you're not recruiting them. You are recruiting them.
Yeah.
And what bothers me about a lot of the talk about college basketball these days is that part of coaching is recruiting. So there's a lot of things you do. You have to implement defense. You have to implement offense. You have to implement sideline out of bounds, baseline out of bounds. You got to get the right coaches, the right players, the right mix. There's so many different things. Part of their responsibility is to recruit.
Yeah.
If you are a good recruiter, that means that box along your name as a head coach is checked. You're good at that.
That's why when the situation that happened before, Dusty May, University of Michigan, when people were telling me that, hey, this guy is going to be more like a Calipari in the sense of, he's the face, he's this, and then we got other guys to do the recruiting. We got other guys that go in the living room. I said that'll never work. Like the guy that's here as the main guy has to also recruit.
For sure.
Has to go on the road.
Yeah.
He has to be a face that parents, the kid, can get some form of rapport with so then they can come to your school. Like they won't do it or you won't be able to get the type of players that have the type of rapport if you don't do it that way.
Yeah, every coaching staff, football, basketball, hockey, I don't care what it is, they get assistant coaches who have specialties relationships with different parts of the country.
Yeah.
So they're going to KG might excel in the Midwest. Braylon might be really good down south, and Sweet Potato Cam might be out west.
Yeah.
Okay. Since he grew up in Texas, so that's where you want to go, and you want to tap into that type of knowledge. That's why, and then the head coach comes in and he closes the deal. That's usually the situation.
That's what Ron Bellamy, they pulled Ron from West Bloomfield. Like he had pipelines down in the SEC territory, understood how to have those conversations. And obviously he had West Bloomfield High School as well, Donovan Edwards and a couple others. So 100%, that gets you a job a lot of times.
For sure.
Out of high school to the collegiate level, and then you see what you can do.
Listen, it's no different. If today's business, it's about who you know sometimes, not what you know, how is that any different in sports? It's always been that way, okay? Always been that way. I just thought what was really important for both those coaches, and I thought it was very obvious, whether you like them or not, their players love them. Yeah. And I think that leads to really good culture, okay? And they're not the only ones. I'm just saying. Those two got their teams there in part because their players truly believe in them, and their players love one another. I love what I saw last night. I watched a couple, or I scoured a couple of mock drafts. And not that we necessarily know right away about what this is or if it would come to fruition. But I do wanted to let people know a little bit about it, okay? Tim Twentyman's a friend of the program.
Yeah,
he writes for...
Supposed to have him on 2 weeks ago, and then stuff dropped at the Lions. Oh, at NFL owners camp.
What was going on there? Mm-hmm. He's takes a few shots at a couple of mock drafts. I think he ends up having like six or seven. His third post-free agency prediction mock draft came out yesterday on DetroitLions.com. And he had the Lions at 17, taking a guy that you and I have talked about a lot, and that's Monroe Freeling, all right? And I didn't realize this. He's got athletic traits beyond belief. He's got a 9.99 out of a possible 10 in relative athletic score. That ranks number 2. This is an amazing statistic. Again, I'm not taking credit for it. It's Tim Twentyman. Number 2 out of 1,519 offensive tackles dating back to 1987. 2 out of over 1,500 in terms of athleticism. 6'7", 315, super athletic. How much does the athleticism at that position matter, do you think?
It does. Like, athleticism at any position will help you. It will take you along the lines, especially if you're talking about a tackle. A tackle has to be able to, take that space. Tackle has to be able to recover if you beat him inside. Has to be able to recover if you beat him on the outside. Has to be able to move a little bit in the stat and third. So if you have that athletic ability, especially at that size, and when you're that size and you have that athletic ability, you have the ability to move mountains, and that's no shout out to Usher. So having that athletic ability, it's a good sign. It's a good quality. But playing in that conference, like that's what we talked about. Caden Proctor, Monroe Freeling, same situation. SEC guys played at Alabama. Just listen to some of the names that they've played against. Dallas Turner, Chop Robinson, Darius Robinson, Latu. These guys are already in the league.
Yeah.
James Pierce Jr., Mikael Williams. Remember, he was at Georgia. He was with the Eagles. Now he's with the Patriots. Nick Skirton, Abdul Carter, David Bailey, Arvell Reese, Reuben Bain Jr., Logan Final, Cassius Howell. Do I need to keep going?
No.
Like, these are who they play against on a week in and week out basis. So when you're talking about getting tackled, when you're talking about getting a guard from that conference, especially Alabama or Georgia or, insert one of those, they're playing against elite level opposition. And that goes a long way, especially when you're looking to fit guys in right away. And Monroe Freeling, he's coming in as RT1 from day one and ready to rock and roll, and that's what he's coming and having on his resume. These are some of the guys I played against. So, excuse me, LT too, if you do that one. But,
I mean, I think I think it's a great way to look at it, man.
Yeah.
It's not just the player; it's who that player is played against. So I know the SEC is different than the ACC, but another name, and I haven't seen this in a mock yet, but I do like Blake Miller. He's the kid out of Clemson. He started 54 games in 4 years, okay? And he was back-to-back all-ACC. And I know it's known more for its college basketball than it is its football.
Yeah, but
all we're trying to do here on this show is give you an idea of some names that might be associated with it. I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, still pretty good.
When you start that many games, that means you're doing something right. And look, I know Clemson hasn't won a national championship recently, but they're a pretty good program.
Yeah.
All right? May not be Alabama, may not be an SEC team, but they're a pretty good program.
Yeah, 100%. At the end of the day, you don't have to like a guy to appreciate what they've done, and you look at what the head coach has done down there, and he's done some good things over the years. But there is talent around. Duke had a little string of some defensive linemen that came through. North Carolina had a guy or two. North Carolina State. So, I mean, there is some talent in the ACC, but when you have measurables and when you can see that at the pro days, at the combines, and mix that with film, you can get a better sense of what a player is. And Blake Miller is one of those guys where I'm not mad if the Detroit Lions slide that way.
3,778 snaps.
That's a lot.
That's how many he took in college. He set the school record, and Clemson's come out with some really good players. 3,778. That is a big deal. One more, because I don't want to bore you with too many of these, but I do want to give you one more, and that was Peter Schrager. Now, Peter Schrager used to work at NFL Network, moved over to ESPN. Take him or not, I mean, he does know some pretty good insight and intel when it comes to the National Football League.
He talked about his mock draft and how he does it. His mock drafts aren't based on what he believes the team should draft or who he believes the team is going to draft.
Right.
When you look at this mock draft, his is based on all the rumblings he's been hearing and what the consistency is at that pick. Yeah. So when you look at his list, this is kind of like, I went to the NFL meetings. I went to the combine. I was out in Arizona. I've been on the air. I've talked to this GM, that GM. So this is kind of what he's developed through that.
Thanks for that clarity, because it was needed. He's got them taking Vega Ioane. He's the guard from Penn State, and this is what he writes. I'm not sure there's a more Dan Campbell player in this draft than Ioane. 6'4", 320 pounds, plays with a mean streak, didn't give up a single sack, was an All-American last season. It's a perfect fit for Detroit's interior offensive line. Here's my question to you.
I know exactly what it is.
Are you more comfortable with Larry Borum at right tackle and Ioane at left guard, or a guy like Blake Miller or Monroe Freeling or Caden Proctor at right tackle and either Christian Mahogany or Miles Frazier at left guard?
Yeah, give me Proctor or Proctor or Miller at right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just give it to me that way, because realistically, I love Ioane Vega. I love what he represents. I love what he can do, his athleticism, and being able to pull. We saw how much that was needed when Kevin Zeiler was here 2 years ago, how good he was. And that was an older Kevin Zeiler versus, Vega coming in at 21 years old. But if you don't have a right tackle, it'll be a very similar situation to how good the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line was, from left tackle to left guard to center to right guard. And then, oh, by the way, Jawan Taylor as your right tackle, who's jumping off sides every time. And the difference is Patrick Mahomes can run.
Mm-hmm.
So when you blow by Jawan Taylor, Patrick Mahomes can elude that because the other four guys are doing their job. Jared Goff, not so much. So I would rather have Proctor, Miller, Panay, Mahogany, or figure out what that looks like,
Frazier,
and then Cade Mays, as well as big fella from last year, Tate Ratledge.
Right.
I would rather that. That'd just be me.
Vega Ioane is considered the best interior offensive lineman, and some have him top 3 offensive lineman overall.
So, a Zach Miller situation, Zach Martin situation.
Yeah, I mean, you could do, it could be one of those guys.
So
Either
he
way,
could go early is what you're saying.
I think he's
top 10.
I think he's a top 10 pick. I'd be surprised if he drops to Detroit. If Detroit took him, I would have no problem with it. I would also remind people, I think Monroe Freeling and Blake Miller, I think could play left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you wanted to keep Penei Sewell at right tackle. I'm not saying that's the way to go, because they can play right side. And Caden Proctor, the same thing.
Yeah.
What I love most about it is those 4 names, and Caden Proctor, somebody said, 370-pound offensive lineman. I think he's like 352.
352, yeah.
But
he can move.
He's super athletic.
Yeah, he can move.
I mean, that's the thing that people forget. He is super athletic.
And the Lions love that in their run schemes that they try to run.
But who doesn't?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like him? He's powerful. Sometimes he gets a little lost sometimes with the run game, but overall, I mean, he's a really good player. I mean, they're going to have a chance to get an impact player on that side of the football, unless if maybe they choose to go the other side. Maybe it's a Keldrick Falk or something like that as a pass rusher. Well,
I believe it when I see it.
Okay, but you wouldn't have a problem with an offensive lineman, even though it's not one of those.
Of course not.
Okay.
Yeah. The O-line is of the utmost importance, but what I kind of worry about with the Lions is that you sacrifice the defensive line in order to fix the O-line, and you seem to be kind of comfortable with that. And not to say you're devoid of talent on the defensive line. You still have Aleem coming back, hopefully healthier. Tyleek, I think he will improve as the years go on. And you have Hutch, of course, but it's just that other side that's really sticking in my craw, man. I do think you need to improve there. Wanham, I do like him. I don't know if he's a starter. Just like in the same ways when Davenport was coming here, I liked some of the things he was doing. I don't know if he's a starter for you.
Yeah, I thought Davenport was a starter. He just couldn't stay healthy. Wanham's definitely not a starter, I don't believe.
Yeah.
And I would remind people, they do have 9 picks.
Yeah.
This is just a first-round choice.
No, for sure.
You can still get somebody in the second round, and it's not going to bother me one bit.
Yeah.
So.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, definitely one of those tackles. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Even Vega, I wouldn't have a problem with that either. I would prefer a tackle, but I wouldn't have a problem with that either. You got to make what was strong once strong again. And to your point, there are other ways to attack that defensive end situation, which you're absolutely correct. Please still address that. But the thing that stirred the drink was the offensive line. You got to get back to that because as good as the offensive line can be, is as good as Jared Goff can be, as good as Jared Goff can be, is as good as Jahmyr Gibbs can be. And when the offense is rolling like that, now it makes the job of the offense a bit easier. And that's what we saw in 23 and that's what we saw in 24. I still remember and I still have conversations with people, man, defense was really good in 23. It was really good in 24. No, the offense was elite of the elite. And when your offense is putting up 35 points a game, when your offense is putting people in the chokehold, now when their offense get out there, they got to pass the ball. They can't run the game. They can't run the ball and slow the game down. So it allows you to not have to worry about certain things.
Okay, I'm interested to get your perspective. There's a big hockey game tonight between the Red Wings and the Blue Jackets. We're not breaking that down here, but it's been frustrating for me to watch the Red Wings for a while because they don't play with the same type of grit, energy, and sandpaper that Steve Yzerman played on while he was in Detroit. Not everybody has to fight for you to be successful.
Yeah.
It's such a misnomer. But you do have to play a certain role. He played on those teams where they had great role players. You played on teams where you could justify or at least recognize certain players and how they played. What happens to some guys when they reach the front office? Matt Millen, for example, who won championships, plural, and knew what it took to win championships as a player, but seemed to have forgotten that as a general manager. And please, I'm not comparing Steve Yzerman to Matt Millen. Right. But what do you think that is? What is it about some guys in a front office who haven't been able to recognize the types of players that his championship teams needed?
I don't know per se. I've never been in front office with, and have to sit and understand and what's the difference from being a player to how you sit in that room then and what energy can you give versus what you can't give. But I know just as a player, like you can have a real conversation. Like if you out there messing up, like, yo, you effing up. Like, yo, what's wrong with you? Like, what's going on? This is number 19 talking to you, by the way. Like, what, yo, D-Mac, what's up? Like, why were you late? Why wasn't the intensity there? Why did you miss on this? Why? Like, you can have those conversations player to player, and it's like you can pull the best out of a player. I don't know if Stevie Y is in the front office being able to not necessarily have those same conversations, but talk to players anymore. And I think now where the game has gotten in all 4 major sports, it's a little more how you have to talk to people and how you have to skate around things, no pun intended. I don't know if these are real conversations that he's having anymore.
But you should still be able to recognize certain traits. Like when you do the Braylon's breakdown every Thursday about certain players, there are certain things that you look at that you say, I like this about this guy, okay? Steve Yzerman, when he's drafting guys or bringing guys in, there has to be that thing that jumps out to you.
Yeah. From what I'm hearing, like, all right, this is a novice. From what I'm hearing is the picks, okay? The picks weren't there for the Red Wings to necessarily draft the best talent. So they haven't had the picks over the years. So you're just slotting what's there, correct?
To a certain extent. I mean, most Siders turned out pretty good. Lucas Raymond's turned out pretty good.
Yep. Two of 9.
Yeah.
And then also, they're not spending a ton of money, per se. Or are they spending enough money?
I think they spent some money. Look, they spent a lot of money on both those players to keep them here. They spent a lot of money on Dylan Larkin to keep them here. I don't think it's a financial ramification that's linked to the Red Wings. Could they spend more on certain guys? I suppose so. They inherited the Justin Falk, gave up a first-round pick. I don't worry about that. I worry about their judge of not talent per se, but guys who fit certain roles that need to make up a championship roster.
Yeah, You're right, and some of those guys have to be guys that were fired. We talked about the Dylan Larkin situation. We keep bringing up how they didn't fight, how guys look a little bit different when they're playing for the country versus when they're playing for the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah.
Like, what's that locker room like? Is it the talent and the players and them not having it versus them not buying into? And it can't be the coaches because we said it's 3 different coaches. Maybe it's the leaders on that team. Maybe it's what.
Well, so that's where I thought you were going to go, right? Maybe it's the leaders.
Yeah.
You were a leader your entire life. What does it take for you to follow? Because it's one thing being a leader; it's another thing being a follower.
This is true. You can be a leader and do both.
Okay.
100% you can do both, but the person that's leading you, the person that you're following, like they're leading by example. Like they may not talk a lot, and if they do talk, they're backing it up, and they're going out there and putting in that time. They're putting in that work. They're putting in those changes. Like you see one mistake, you never see that mistake again.
Yeah.
You see the tutelage happen throughout the week, and then you see it translate into the game time. You're like, oh, man, like he paid attention. Oh, this is what's going on. Man, he's really doing things the right way. Damn, he's really, this new system we're putting in. And then before you know it, you're following this individual because this individual's doing it the right way. You're starting to ask questions. Hey, hey, Kev, why would I go on the backside? Oh, yeah, you're probably going on the backside because you'll clear out for the tight end that's going to come on the drag route. I didn't even okay, yeah, I didn't think about that. And then you just go again. So people that are just leading by example, just going out there and do it, they just naturally become leaders. Like I was going back to Trey McKinney.
Yeah.
Like Trey McKinney is a freshman. We know Yaxel Lindenborg is a player of the year in the Big Ten, and these guys are going to make some money, and some of these guys are getting drafted. But when you watch the game last night, Trey looks like a leader, and a lot of those guys were following him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't have 25 points, but he was out there like a leader. He was operating with the same energy, intensity, and he was where he was supposed to be.
Communicating, yeah.
100%. So I think that in itself just naturally develops into people following you.
That's a really interesting take. I'm trying to figure out, I think, what Red Wings fans and maybe fans in general of teams that have underachieved. It sure isn't the case for the Tigers yet, even though they lost last night. It may be elevated for the Pistons because of how good they've been, and look at how good they've been without their leader.
Yeah.
Okay, which means they have multiple leaders. But this team seems to be searching for somebody to do something.
Yeah.
And instead of them all saying, I'm going to do something. Not selfishly, but you know what? I'm going to be a difference maker. Yeah, they seem to be waiting for someone to do something.
Because they don't know how. That's what it comes down to. They don't know how.
Which blows my mind that they don't know how, because they have plenty of guys who've played in the playoffs, guys who've won cups. Yeah. Patrick Kane's got 3 cups.
But how old is Patrick? But okay, how old is Patrick Kane? Like, what year is he in? 15?
Yeah,
16?
He's older,
17? Yep. Patrick Kane's energy. Patrick Kane is on this team. This ain't his team. Like Patrick Kane, I'll give you what I have. I'll give you what I'm supposed to. But my days of leading are over. My days of being the guy are over. Dylan, it's on you. Moritz, it's on you. Lucas, it's on you. So the older guys that had that experience, they're leaning in the cut and waiting for these young guys to figure it out. And maybe they're giving more information than we know, and the young guys still can't figure it out. Because this is year 9, and Stevie Y hasn't been to a playoff. So realistically, none of these guys know what it feels like, the younger guys. The guys that have been drafted by Stevie Y, the guys that have been brought in young by Stevie Y, they don't know what it's like. They don't know what the feel is. They don't know technically what they're not doing.
Larkin had 1 playoff series his rookie year. That was it.
My apologies,
No, that's okay. I mean,
so,
you're right. I mean, it feels like it's forever ago, and it feels like it didn't happen in the first place. That's how bad it's been for this franchise in general.
And it's crazy because they were number 1 in the East at one point. I know it was halfway through
January
the year,
25th.
but yeah. And it kind of show you
3 years in a row.
They have enough talent at least to compete, but it's like where do you get the other answers from?
I like to think the same thing, and then I start questioning myself.
Yeah, but that's a problem.
If they have enough talent, where is it?
They don't.
Yeah,
like they do not. They have enough talent, and they do this every single year. Oh my God, they have enough talent to start the charge from October through January, while teams are just like basketball, like baseball. What do teams do? Teams take a second to figure it out. Teams take a second to settle in. Teams take a second to get your new free agent right. Teams take a second, got to get the draft pick, got to get the free agent, got to figure it out. This is the first time this new chemistry has worked. Then once teams get to like December, you see them starting to rock and roll. January, February, it's motion moving. And that's when the Red Wings tend to slow down. It's kind of like last year with the Tigers. Like Tigers rocking and rolling, where teams are settling in, trying to figure it out. And then the Tigers were this way, and teams start to meet the level.
Which was just the opposite the year before.
Right. Yeah. They switched on them.
Yeah,
So-
totally switched. The talent thing's an interesting debate because I think with teams like this, is Sider talented? Yes.
Yeah.
Raymond, DeBrincat, Larkin, talent, yes. But I think part of talent is also the mental side of things and the ability to push certain things out when you're struggling with it, and the ability to persevere and get through something during a challenging time. I think that requires a lot of talent as well.
It does.
Do these guys hang together? And
I don't know.
That's why do these guys hang together? Do they spend time together? Do they train together? Because I know Dylan doesn't train. He trains with the Chuck brothers, right?
No.
Who's at the trains with Hughes?
It might be the Hughes brothers. He lives locally. He lives down the street.
Yeah, he's from Waterford.
Yeah, but he lives in Bloomfield, and I know he was Jeff Petrie's who's now still playing.
Right.
He's a good friend of his, right down the street.
I know a lot of these guys nowadays, man. They tend to hang out with other people around the country or do different things, or they travel in the off season, and this is my space and this is that. Like, do they get together? Because back when the Red Wings were winning, like you saw 5 of them together.
Yeah.
You was gonna see Mac, you was gonna see Chelly, you was gonna see Brendan Shanahan.
Yeah.
You see Stevie Wire from time to time. Like, you saw those guys together. If you saw one, you saw at least 5.
Yeah, you saw Draper and Maltby and Osgood
There you
together.
go.
There's no doubt about it. I think the difference between those teams and this team, and D-Mac would know that better than I would.
Scotty
but,
Bowman.
Well, that's a huge part of it. There's no doubt. There's a huge part. But I think it's accountability.
Yeah.
I think the best – all coaches say this all the time. The best teams are the player-led teams. And that means that players are holding each other accountable. And I'd love to know how much accountability these guys take from one another, because I think that's what's missing. And I don't know if it's somebody afraid to jump on somebody's ass to do something better than what they're doing or what, but it just doesn't seem like people are willing to take much accountability when it comes
I don't know what the hockey conversation is like, but to your point, like, legitimately, when I'm with my guys, we're out there, like, if a guy is, hey, look, how many passes you going to drop today? Like, how many passes you going to drop? Like, these are conversations, me and Bart. Like, I was having a practice playing for the Jets.
Bart Scott?
100%. I just wasn't into it, man. I was having a day. I had some other stuff going on. I dropped the pass in 7-on-7. He cracked the joke. I dropped the pass in team. And by the time we got to third down, I dropped a big pass in practice. He pulled me. He said, man, what's going on? He said, well, he said, get your shit together. Like, what's up? Like, this is, and it was maybe December. So this is getting close to playoff push, but he pulled me aside, told me he said, step it up.
Yeah.
And I didn't take that offensive. I didn't take that like, hey, man, first of all.
Well, that's because you're not a wallflower.
But that's this day and age, though, Shep, and that's what I'm trying to get to. In this day and age, you tell somebody, like, step your blink up, they're like, what do you mean? What's going on?
The defense shield comes right in.
And if I rank higher than you, I got a conversation with the front office. Hey, man, look, this dude over here told me to step my stuff up, man. Like, pack his bags and get him up out here. Can you tell them to step it up?
Yeah.
Can you tell them?
And then is
things?
management going to have your back if you do? One of my
Now
favorite stories is I was on the Lions plane, and things were expected. Sean Rogers had a bad game. Marcus Pollard, who is a good dude,
Shout out Marcus Pollard.
really good dude,
Friend of the
came
show.
down and said, "Hey,
Brother-in-law.
man, we can't be acting like this after a loss. This is a bad loss. If we want to change the culture here, we got to." Sean Rogers was like, "Hey, man, get the hell out of here." You know, I mean. And
what happened to the Lions for the next foreseeable future?
Well, more importantly, what did Steve Mariucci do about it?
Nothing.
What did the coach do about it?
Nothing.
He sided with Rodgers.
Yeah.
That tells you all you really needed.
And
And that's not how it works. At least that's not how good teams work.
But you got to think, if it came to a point where Larkin was in the media, like, criticizing Stevie and some of his moves, like get somebody in here, you would hope that they have picked each other up or tried to pick each other up at some point.
Well,
if it's gotten to that point.
Dylan Larkin, you're referring to last year. It was once where he said we were hoping for a little bit more of infusion.
Right.
You know, I think he said what a lot of people said. I had necessarily no problem with it. I think things like that should probably be said more in private.
Of course. But for him to go out there and do that to Steve Yzerman, of all people.
Put him on blast.
Yeah, like, that was a big deal.
It was a big deal. You're right. And you know what else is a big deal right now? Steve Yzerman hasn't said that about Dylan Larkin. Just because you've gone 5 straight years of 30 goals or more doesn't mean that you're doing everything you can to lead this team. Would it be fair if Steve Yzerman came out and said, look, we need better leadership right now?
I mean,
because we sure don't see the do we see the leadership?
I think it would be, yeah.
Okay,
it would be more than fair.
but that's not how he works.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, you could easily say something like that. Something's missing.
Yeah.
From this team, and I don't think it's the coaching.
And you don't think it's coming from within with the guys?
Well, it's at some point you got to stop saying, okay, it's this guy, and look at the room.
Yeah.
Those are the guys playing.
Exactly.
Where's the effort? And I think it's frustrating for a lot of people, but it's a great perspective from Braylon because professional athletes know. They look at a guy and they're like, I would like that guy on my team. Yeah. I would like that guy on that team. No way with this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that Yzerman hasn't been able to build a roster with more guys who play with a little more sandpaper like the teams that he won cups with. That's all. Good stuff today. Thanks, fellas. Always appreciate it.
A lot of fun.
It's my last day with y'all. Miss y'all, though.
All right, man, we're going to miss you, bro.
Shout out KG. You looking out?
No, you don't know what the future holds.
We kept the 50-50 split, man.
Where you going?
we going to 75-25.
Right. Where you going? Oh, you're going to a different show?
Well, yeah, I'm going back to my normally scheduled program.
You didn't like this one?
No, well, no, I love it. I was just looking out for my boy Kool-Aid. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Hope he having fun.
You know, you wield a lot of power here. You could easily just say, you know what, I think I want to finish the rest of the week up.
I mean,
You just choose not to do that.
See the way my wife is set up.
See, it's a choice. It's all about a choice.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But we love you and we're glad you were with us.
Yeah,
wifey, like, I could pick you up at 1:15.
You're right.
That 4:15 stuff is crazy.
It's crazy, man.
I'm done with it. We're back tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Don't forget the heavyweights later on tonight at 5.
You see it.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.